All right, let us see if this has worked. We'll go here. I do need to accept that challenge now, probably. Let's see, we have my channel. There we go. Cool. All right, I think that this thing is working. Let me make sure that I can hear myself. Channel. There we go. Cool. All right, I think that this thing is working. Let me make sure that I can hear myself. Okay, it might be a little quiet, but we can do it. There we go. Okay. So let me make sure that I'll turn that off for sure. Put this here, put this here. All right, and let us accept this challenge. 45 plus 45. We are off. All right, so the white pieces. I can play a lot of stuff. I could say good luck, have fun. Let's play e4. e4, here we go. e6, he plays the French. Okay, so I don't really have that many sensible options on this move. I can play knight f3, I can play d4. I wonder if you can play c4. Probably not. Let's play d4 because that makes a lot of sense. He plays d5. I'm going to pretend to think. I'm going to copy a link to the stream in the chat, even though nobody's watching right now. Streaming here. Cool. Okay. So, French. I have a lot of options here. It has been a long time since I really played 1e4. Probably have not played 1e4 in a tournament game, you know, especially against the French in probably a couple years. And back then, it was enough for me to not really know any theory at all or what I was doing. I usually just played e5. Later, I switched to knight d2. Knight d2 is what I still play in Blitz. But, you know, from my own time as a French player, albeit a very low-rated one when I was like 1500, I remember getting supremely tilted whenever anybody exchanged. So that is what I'm going to do here. Okay, so we exchange and we play knight f3. Now you can play bishop d6, knight f6, bishop g4. So if it's favorable for me, I want to follow up with c4. That's really the only way, I mean, to play this line and not try to make it draw, to my knowledge. But we will go for that. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Do I really show up on the streamer list here? Let's see. Anything? I'm going to have to scroll down a lot in order to find myself, but I might be on here, possibly. No. Am I? They said that I would be. Let's see. Here. Hey, I requested a moderator review. I thought they already did that. We'll see. Request a moderator review. Cool. All right, well, let's see. I played knight f3, and now I assume he's thinking about the three main moves here. Bishop d6, knight f6, even bishop g4. Okay, so I know the big idea is if bishop d6, I'm going to play c4 right away. If knight f6 or bishop g4, I'm going to try to play an early queen e2. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I read some book where they gave it that as the line. So we'll see. We will see. Okay, he goes bishop d6. All right, c4. If he takes, we've transposed into the Queen's Gambit, accepted into, I think, not a bad line for white at all, you know. And I think we can definitely not be too worried about the whole, you know, French exchange, automatic draw. Now that I've you know, broken in the center somewhat. This isolated queen's pawn position, you know, to my understanding, which take with a grain of salt, of course, it's not as good as like in the Panov Botvinnik attack for white, but it's not like it's worse for white. I don't think the IQP will seriously become a weakness. Like I don't foresee black being able to both restrain the pawn and attack it at the same time, which is the worst case. That's when you're forced into like passive defense. So I feel good. I feel good about my IQP chances here. Another thing is the open E file. It can often lead to a trade of rooks, which is obviously not that great for playing for an advantage. But it also means that, well, if I trade everything on the E file, I'm not going to get some worse IQP in game. Okay, so he plays knight f6. This move makes a lot of sense. I think I play knight c3, and if they castle, I take the pawn on d5. So let's go for that. Knight c3. If they take here, I think we're back in Queen's Gambit territory. Yeah. What is there to say? If they take the pawn here, I'm happy that I get to play bishop takes c4 in one move instead of like playing bishop d3 and then take on c4. But either way, I don't think this pawn will remain there for too long. So if they castle, I am going to take this, and honestly, I'm going to do my best to hold on to this pawn. I think white can hold on to the pawn, even against knight d7, knight b6. We might have to think of something there, but yeah, so we should get an interesting position here. This is definitely not the boring French exchange, which I don't know. One like kind of psychological bias that I had when I played the French is that when my opponent played the exchange, I like, oh, okay, it's a draw, which is absurd, because I was 1500 playing the French. I mean, I couldn't draw the Philidor position. I probably couldn't draw king versus king. I don't know why I thought I could draw the black side of the French exchange, but yeah, white always has opportunities to spice things up, to make the position a little more double-edged. I mean, this should be a very imbalanced position, right? Especially if he castles right now, it's going to be a very imbalanced position, right? Where you sacrifice a pawn. I have two isolated double pawns, and he's going to have to look to prove compensation for that. Yes, I mean, can you just play the French exchange where we both just play knight f6, bishop d3, bishop d6, castles, trade everything on the e-file, c3, c6. You can play that way, but white isn't obligated to play that way just because they've traded one pair of pawns. Okay, so he castles. I take the pawn. Not going to think about it too much. I am in book. I seem to remember that I want to play bishop g5, obviously, to hold on to this pawn. I'm vaguely remembering that rook e8 check is kind of a mistake because I want to play bishop e2 anyways. I'm following, or I'm at least trying to follow, some game that was annotated in the book E3 Poison, which, what does the French have to do with 1e3? Well, 1e3, e5, d4, takes, and d5 is a funny move order to get to the French exchange. I think it's a really interesting book for sure, but it absolutely has downsides, such as playing the white side of the French exchange. And he actually specifically recommends in the book, never play 1e3, e5, d4 against a French player, because they should really know how to handle the French exchange. They should not be afraid of handling this. Okay, but let's see what he has done. He has played knight d7, which is a supremely logical move in my view. So bishop e2 makes a lot of sense to me. He's going to play knight b6. He's going to try to get this pawn. I can play bishop g5 to try to hold on to the pawn as long as possible. And then there's also queen b3. So let me think if there's any particular reason that I have to start with bishop g5 or bishop e2. Let's see. Bishop g5. Yeah, I don't see any reason. No. So bishop e2, knight b6, bishop g5, h6, bishop h4. They probably don't want to play bishop g5. If they play bishop e7, I think that I take on f6 and play queen b3, or at least this is what happened in the game in E3 Poison by Axel Smith. I can't remember. I assume white won that game. I can't really remember. This is how they played, and Axel Smith certainly seemed to think it was reasonable. Okay, so maybe start with bishop g5, and maybe I can tempt them into that inaccurate check on e8. So let's start bishop g5. All right, so I'm still in book, kind of, but I mean, honestly, I only looked up this line right before the game with some vague idea that I might play the French exchange, and that was already about 2 hours ago, so I've forgotten a lot of it already. So let's see what happens. Bishop g5. If you want to grab your pawn back, if you try too hard to grab your pawn back, you might end up in trouble with a very weak king side. But who can say? Who knows? It's an interesting unbalanced position. I don't think it's particularly better for white, because I don't see how am I gonna hold on to that pawn forever? I don't know. I'm not that optimistic. But black will have to prove some kind of, if he can't win the pawn back, he's gonna have to look for compensation. So knight b6 seems like a natural move here. But it doesn't threaten to win back the pawn immediately. I will just, I think, continue bishop e2. And then h6, bishop h4. If he plays bishop e7 there, then I will try to hold on to the pawn with takes, and queen to b3. Queen to b3, rook e8, castles. If he doesn't play rook e8, I guess he might be up a tempo kind of on that. We'll see what happens. And I'm happy with the result of the opening because I played the French exchange and I did not get a terribly dry position that's unwinnable. We are down in the match, so you might think it's a dubious prospect to play the French exchange at all as white when your team is down. I think something horrible like 3-1 in the match. Let me actually check that. I'm not sure how much we are down. I think it's a lot though. Yeah, maybe I should find that out. Let's look at what Slack. That's how I can find that out. Cool. Team pairings. Put this here. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're down. Yeah, we're down 3-1. Yeah, this is what I thought. Okay. So yeah, okay. You can criticize me for playing the French exchange at all, but if you do plan on criticizing me, this is all I would say. I mean, what is? I mean, 2200 Lichess, 2100 Lichess. This is like 1900, 2000 USCF. Again, the French exchange is just not that drawish at 2000 because 2000 can barely hold king versus king. And I've exchanged one pair of pawns. I haven't done anything that offensive. So I'm just preempting that because I'm sure that one teammate in particular, let me see which one, call out, MCAT, is going to tell me. He's going to, why do you play the French exchange? What the heck? Because it's a good opening. Good opening. And look at this, I'm up a pawn. So what do you think about that? All right, so h6, bishop h4. We're still following the line from e3 poison, especially if he checks me right here and I get to play bishop e2. So we'll see what happens. Okay, he plays that. So here I can just play bishop e2. If he plays g5, bishop g3, this I think I would get a good position from. So I mean, he spent a long time recapturing a pawn. So I think I'm okay with this. And I take with the f pawn even. Maybe I'm mixing up my lines. All right, I should stop pretending I'm in book here. I should actually think. Okay. So the threat, if you could call it that, is to play g5, bishop g3, and take on d5. So if I play bishop e2, g5, bishop g3, take on d5, simply castles. And the king side, it looks very weak. I can play the moves knight e5. I see no reason why I wouldn't be able to play knight e5 and f4, for example. Maybe I don't even need a castle there. So bishop e2, let's stay, or I don't know, maybe 95? It seems wrong to do anything too crazy before I get castled. So I think just bishop e2 and castles is a good starting point. I if I can remember the words of Axel Smith, what he actually said is he said, g5 wins back a pawn, but the king side is irreparably damaged. We'll see if that's true. Let me think. How am I actually going to bust open the king side? Bishop e2, g5, bishop g3, knight takes d5. Surely it's not h4. Do I castle or do I play knight e5 immediately? Knight e5, I don't necessarily want to play f4 immediately, but I could be threatening h4 then. Might make a lot of sense. h4 then might make a lot of sense. Okay, let's go with bishop e2. I mean, we have some vague knowledge of it ourselves, and cursory. I wouldn't even call that calculation. What would you even call that? Speculation. That's a new word. Yeah, I should write a book. Speculate like a grandmaster or like a 2200. But yeah, that could not pass for calculation possibly. But okay, not the most serious game in the whole wide world. But still, I mean, I want to win. I think I might have been the only player who won last week. So our team's not doing too hot. We crushed everybody the first week, and then the last week, everybody got crushed. Although I think I'm not sure actually. Did Kalichi Monger win his game? Let me look that up. Let's find out. What was the score last round? Round 2. No. Okay. Yeah, we won one game by forfeit, and then everybody else got spanked. Okay. So yeah, I feel like to give my team any kind of fighting chance here, I really, really, really need to win this game. If I lose, I mean we're what, mathematically eliminated from winning. The best we can do is draw. And if I draw, then what do we need? We need an upset here. We need this would be evenly matched. This would be evenly matched. So we need a very small upset, and then we need 2 games that are evenly matched to go our way as well. Okay. Yeah, that's not looking good. Yeah, I'll consider this to be a must-win game. Cue the okay. So if it's a must-win game, why did you play the French Exchange? I don't know, man. I'm just trying to do my thing. Just trying to do my thing. So let us see what he chooses here. What does he choose? Does he play g5? The text move in the game was rook e8, castles, bishop e7, bishop f6, bishop f6, queen to d3, saying, you know, I'm holding on to the pawn. What are you going to do about it? And then there's some tactics on knight d5 because the rook hangs. But I think everything works out for white, and white is better in that position. But we'll see. We will see. G5 or not, I'm sure is the question that he is asking. I'm not going to think too hard in this position because I don't want to wear my brain out. I can only do about 2 minutes of focused calculation per day. So I want to save that for a time when it's going to matter. Okay. What is it going to be? Rook e8 definitely seems pointless here now that I've already put the bishop on e2. I don't expect him to play that. He could play bishop e7. Then I'm going to have to seriously consider takes, and queen b3 as the top candidate move. Just letting him recapture this nicely doesn't seem that good. G5 here, takes, knight e5, you know. It feels okay for me. I don't know. I'm optimistic about my chances. We will let him see. We will let him see what happens. So, I mean, if I get the knight planted on e5, and I could play, for example, queen f3 might be a move. I could play knight e5 and f4. Whenever you play these isolated queen's pawn structures, you really want your knight on e5. That is where it belongs, in my opinion. Not really just my opinion. I think that's more of a fact. Knight goes to e5. What is there to say? Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell that I have not been playing a lot of classical here because my brain is not working the way it's supposed to. Probably should be calculating lines here, but I mean, I don't like to calculate too much before I am out of book. I don't know. Like I play my book moves and then he plays something funny. I'll take a look around. That's all. I'll pre-move king takes f2. That might come up later. Not really. What's it going to be? Is it going to be g5? Is it going to be bishop e7? Or is it going to be just accepting that you're down a pawn, bishop f5, looking for counterplay somewhere else? Bishop e7, I think, is the most direct try to win this pawn back. And it definitely puts some questions to me, such as, can I win the pawn back? Or can I keep the pawn? So bishop e7, takes, queen b3. I'm holding on to the pawn for now. I can maybe play a4, a5. You know, a pawn's a pawn. A pawn's a pawn. And I still absolutely have a plan called put the knight on e5. bishop on e6 or not, or bishop on f6 or not. Bishop e7. Okay, he goes for it. I don't think that I wanted to go quietly into that sweet good night, but I am out of book here because he hasn't included this move, rook e8, bishop e2. So who does this favor? Well, in the other line with the rook on e8, there's tactics with knight d5 because the rook on or the bishop on e2 hangs. Here, there's not. Well, I guess what am I expecting? I'm expecting to have this position with rook e8 and castles in the game, maybe. Let me see. Well, I guess the only question is, do I want to hang on to this pawn or do I not want to hang on to this pawn? So I play bishop f6, queen b3. I'm well on my way to holding on to this pawn. And there, if rook e8 castles, we're back to the game. He doesn't have to play rook e8 though, and he shouldn't play rook e8. This still seems like a very logical way to go, right? This is the only move that hangs onto the pawn. If I don't hang on to the pawn, I have I'm worried about letting the knight just occupy d5 for free. I'm worried that could turn into a kind of a not dynamic, isolated queen's pawn structure where I don't have the option to play d5 myself. So in the interest of safeguarding the d5 square, I am going to invest the bishop pair. I am going to invest the bishop pair. Bishop f6, queen b3. So we still are, we're close to that game. If he plays the silly move, in my opinion, rook e8, castles, we would be transposing back to this game. I forget what it's called. It might have been Alexander Fear versus somebody. It wasn't Axel Smith. I have no idea. It's analyzed in E3 Poison, but I didn't look much further than this. I'm coming to the end of my book knowledge here. Okay, so I know that this is still reasonable for black. It's not, he's not down 2 pawns. Right? Could always be worse. So what should he play? Well, something more useful than rook e8. Rook e8, I castle, and I think this was supposed to be a little bit better for white. He could play bishop f5, castles. I still want to see how is he going to win this pawn back and sort of deal with my idea of playing knight e5. How scary is knight e5? I don't know. I think it's scary. If I get to play knight e5 and f4, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I'm up a pawn. I have a good knight. I mean, I've had to invest the bishop pair. You do have a bishop pair. You do have a weakness to play against. You do have some open lines that are a little more useful for you right now than they are for me. So, I mean, I see the seeds of compensation there. I do. But, yeah, at the same time, I haven't done anything that crazy. I am going to get castled. I'm fully developed. I'm up a pawn. I'm protecting my kind of strong point on d5. So let's see what happens. Psychologically, I hope right now what he's thinking is, oh my god, I'm down a pawn. What do I do? How do I win this pawn back? Right? If he is thinking like that, then he might make some crazy concession or just make a mistake. If his thought process is, okay, this is fine for black. Let's play normally. Develop my pieces, castle. We'll worry about the pawn later. Okay, then that might be the psychologically better approach for him. I'm still not going to calculate on principle here. I'm up 10 minutes on the clock. I would say I'm half in book because we could still transpose back to this game at any time, so I can still play some of the ideas from this game. I probably should be checking things more than I am, but c'est la vie. What do you want from me? I will start thinking when necessary. I might even take a nap because he's not moving very fast. He is out of book, which is nice. It is always nice when you can tell your opponent is out of book. And if he's like most French players, at least most club level French players, I think he's a little bit tilted that he doesn't have a great position after I played the French Exchange. Like the amount of disrespect that French players have for the French Exchange is just absurd. Okay, so we are going to have to calculate his tactics because I don't remember them. If rook e8 castles knight d5, I guess I could at least pretend that I'm looking at those right now. Let's go with rook e8, castles, knight d5. Let's see. Yeah, then just queen d5. Yeah, queen d5, knight d5, rook here, and then is that ideal for me? That doesn't seem ideal. Takes here, here. I mean, I'm still nominally up a pawn with the passer. Okay, so he plays a5. So I am officially well out of book here. Well out of book. a5. The threat is pretty simple. The threat is to play a4, kicking my queen. After he kicks my queen, he is going to say that he's recapturing this pawn. I don't know if I believe him. I don't know if I take his word for it. If let's say I castle, I play the insulting move castles, a4, queen a4. I'm still holding this pawn. Then he might be able to play the move bishop to d7. And okay, bishop d7 here. Yeah, this is getting a bit silly, isn't it? Queen e7. Okay, if nothing else, you can win the pawn back with that ridiculous sequence there. Okay, so there is some real threat of a4. The obvious way to meet that, in my view, would just be to play a5. Sort of highlights the fact that maybe you give me the b4 square too, or the b5 square, right? Kind of makes this rook c1 a little juicier. I don't know. I like a4 for me. That's definitely a top candidate move. All right, so let's double check. Castles, a4. If I just move somewhere, I'm giving the pawn back. I don't like to give the pawn back and also give you the d5 square. It doesn't seem ideal. I could try to reinforce this another way. Bishop c4 looks nonsensical. I don't know. Rook d1, rook c1. They don't protect the pawn. So I think I'm down to pretty much castles or a4, honestly. Or knight a4. Knight a4 is silly, gives back the pawn. Castles a4. I can't protect this pawn in any way. I could play this. Bishop d7 here. Queen. Bishop e7. Cool. And then my queen is actually trapped or something ridiculous like that. Okay, so don't go for that. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a4. I think it's gonna be a4, and I'm not gonna lose too much sleep over it either. It looks. I mean, it's the most natural move, so it's the one I play. C'est la vie. Castling is definitely, a dream of mine. I would love to castle one day. I would love to get my king some real estate on the king side. Looks good. I like to castle. So next up, castles. Rook c1. No, maybe not rook c1. Maybe just knight e5. Castles and then knight e5 if he doesn't prevent it, which he can with bishop or with rook e8. So we'll see if I get my knight just unopposed on e5. I feel good about my position. I feel good about my chances. Funny thing with rook e8 is I might have bishop b5, bishop d7. Chopping the bishop pair in half is often a good idea. Takes, queen takes, knight e5. No, not quite knight e5. Maybe rook e1 followed by knight e5. I mean, for the time being, I'm up a pawn, right? So you have to live with that reality. You're gonna have to play maybe some conciliatory moves to win back your pawn. Which I'm not saying that this pawn is really a tower of strength. I don't know. I don't know. Bishop f5, queen d7, rook e8. If nothing else, probably you can do this. But I have my own plans. The isolated pawn, or pawns plural, does give you some advantages. Some of the advantages it gives you the e and the c files to play on. So I'll do my best to do that. And let's see what he chooses to do. So if he really wants to win the pawn back, I think that he should play the move rook e8, because then after castles, he does tactically have the move knight takes d5, because the bishop on e2 is hanging. Those tactics don't look ridiculous for me. They look fine. I might even walk into that rook e8, just play castles, say what's the big deal. Maybe you get your pawn back. Maybe I get my knight to e5. I mean, I have some. It's simple plans that I have. I think for the most part, nothing that warrants a lot of calculation. He's certainly using a lot of time, which I don't know. I'm no psychologist, but to me that says that he's not feeling good. I feel like this was kind of an unintentional pawn sacrifice, and maybe he thought it was going to be more easy to get the pawn back than he's finding out that it is. I mean, 45, 45. You have to be pragmatic with your time. He hasn't used a crazy amount of time. He has used about a third of his time now by move 13, which if we do the math, he's making it what 39 moves. I don't know. If we get to an end game, the time could matter. It's not completely fair. I've been following a book line, so of course I can play faster than him. But that's been one recurring theme that I noticed so far in the 45-45 league. I notice people playing very slow, very slow. And playing slow is normally better than the opposite problem, which is playing too fast. But normally nobody plays too fast except for kids. My experience is that adults play way too slow. They overthink everything. Like, I don't know, calculate a couple of lines, look at candidate moves, pick one, make a move. Don't overthink it. I mean, maybe he doesn't see this rook e8 idea at all. Maybe he's just trying to find some way to calmly give back the pawn or calmly recapture the pawn. The only way I see to do it is rook e8. The only other candidate move I would have for him would be to play bishop f5, which is not trying to win back the pawn, but it is just trying to develop pieces and, you know, do normal stuff. Then I could castle for free, and I feel like if I have time to protect this e2 bishop, I mean, I'm not going to struggle to hold on to that pawn really. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So I have a 15-minute time advantage. So I'm guessing I don't know. My prediction is that there could be some tactical tactics coming up. I'm gonna guess I might have to invest some time and figure some stuff out in the next few moves. So I'd be okay if I give back my time advantage then, especially if he plays rook e8. Especially if he plays rook e8. Rook e8, castles, knight d5, bishop c4, bishop c4. Yeah, that's it. Rook e8, castles, knight d5, bishop c4. Okay, he plays bishop f5, which either he didn't find or he didn't like the rook e8 idea, so he's just gonna accept being down a pawn for now. Okay. It's not the end of the world. He does have two bishops. They are reasonably active. You know, it's not horrible for him. This pawn is weak, right? But I think it's going to be a lot harder to recapture the pawn without that rook e8, knight d5 idea. So I don't really have a big candidate move here except for castle's kingside. Castle's queenside looks pretty absurd because of just the absolute power of these bishops. Wow, this is funny, would castle's queenside just immediately lose to check here? No, not really. I can always block here if I have to. But it doesn't look good. Okay, so castle's kingside is my only serious candidate move. Let me double check. I mean, I could play 95 out of spite. It seems a little premature. It doesn't have any kind of big threat here. I will castle. I'm not going to overthink it. Yeah. C'est la vie. And now he's got to decide, what do I do to win this pawn back? Or do I even care about winning the pawn back? Do I have bigger fish to fry? If you play rook e8 now, I'm strongly, considering bishop b5, trying to sort of disrupt your control of the e file, which as the only open file, fully open file on the board, is definitely important in the French exchange. And if you meet it with bishop d7, then I think that I think that this trade is kind of happy for me. Because the light squared bishop, my weakness is on a light square. You have the bishop pair, so I on principle, I like to trade off a bishop, right? So we'll see. Let me see if I'm listed on that dumb streamer page yet. Probably not. Your stream is being reviewed. Okay, so queen e7 happens. Yeah, queen e7. What's the idea here? Still knight d5 stuff is what you want? No, knight d5 now has queen d5 attached to it. I mean, rook e8 seems very obvious. It stops rook e8 in its tracks because of bishop b5. If I play rook e1, rook e8, I would have bishop b5 winning the exchange. In fact, here, rook e1, I'm kind of threatening bishop d3 would force bishop d7, then maybe bishop b5 again, and I've really cemented control of the e file. So this is something that I quite like for me, rook e8. Let me see if he really has some idea here. Is the idea here to play queen to b4? Is the idea to play queen b4? If it is, then we'll see. Queen b4. Threatening to take my queen, obviously. If I take here, take, you've kind of covered stuff. Yeah, queen b4 might be a little bit of a problem. Rook e1, obvious move. Queen b4, queen a2. It seems a little passive. It feels like I'm being beat back. Rook e1, queen b4. There's no way I can take. Oh my goodness. Do I have takes a5? Possibly? a5. I feel like the only critical move would be takes here, and I would actually lose. Okay, so I don't have that. Okay, so I cannot play, let's see, rook e1, queen b4, and I think I cannot play queen b4 and a5 there. I think that idea does not work. Takes. Yeah, you just take on b2 and I cry. Okay, so rook e1, queen b4, and rook e1 is just kind of a stand-in move there. We'll see if I have a better waiting move there. But rook e1, queen b4, there is a threat to the queen. It is fairly annoying. I can't play queen d1 because of queen take on b2. I could play queen a2, but it seems not in the spirit of the position and hard to evict the queen from that square. Let's see. Queen b4. Queen to b4. Yeah, I want maybe some counter-attacking idea. Maybe with knight b5. Knight b5, I mean, it thoroughly unprotects the d5 square, right? But maybe not to some catastrophic extent. Let me see. What do I have here? Queen b4. It's an interesting idea. Interesting idea. I guess it highlights the downside of a4, right? Queen e7, certainly not. Bishop c4, bishop b5 doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I don't have queen c2. Rook e1, queen b4. Rook e1, queen b4. And what? Knight d2? Yeah, I mean, I don't love that. No, I definitely don't love knight d2 because it hangs the d pawn. In fact, queen b4, it just doesn't seem tenable to allow that because the d4 pawn does hang too. Okay. Knight b5, probably not c6, would be a disaster. Yeah, c6 would be an unmitigated catastrophe, in fact. Knight b5, not queen b4 because of takes, and take on c7. nothing else. I'm holding on to my extra material. So knight b5. Obvious move seems like rook c8. Maybe rook f to c8. Knight b5, rook f c8, and then there's still a problem of queen b4 looming in the position. Maybe we've made some possibility of d6 tactics. Knight b5, rook c8, rook c1. Yeah, now I'm starting to put some decent pressure on the c file, and hoping that as I give back this pawn, I'm gonna cause some damage to these guys. I think that's the best I can hope for here. Okay, so knight b5. I'm thinking I'm gonna play knight b5, for many reasons, mostly because it's the only way I see not to allow queen b4. Knight b5 and rook f8 and rook c1. At least you can't play queen b4. At least I have stopped that idea somewhat. And it might be this rook that comes over there. Not sure about that yet. Okay, I'm now seeing a slight problem with knight b5, which is that it does hang a bishop for nothing. So I did miss all of that in my expert analysis, which is not ideal. All right, so not knight b5. Great. That was a big waste of time then. Queen d1. Queen d1 does not seem like a move that I want to play in this life or the next. Rook e1. Queen b4. Takes. Knight b5. Takes here. Do I have anything there? It doesn't seem like I would have bishop c4 there. Rook e1, queen b4. Is queen d1 possible? No, queen d1 cannot be possible. Queen d1 must be wrong. Takes. Knight goes perhaps to a2. No, a2 doesn't make a whole lot of sense. a5 takes is disastrous. Queen b4 takes. Knight b5. Knight takes d5. Not ideal. I don't have knight b5 here. Great. Doesn't look good. Yeah, that's annoying. I guess I really underestimated this a5 idea. I didn't even consider this plan of queen e7, queen b4, which is disappointing. All right, let me look. Is there any kind of crazy tactical justification for playing this, such as the queen getting trapped? No, queen does not get trapped. It can come to it can even come to b5. Yeah. Okay. Rook c8 would be a less committal version, I guess. Or rook c1, rather. So rook c1, queen b4, takes, knight b5, takes here. At least hangs on to stuff. I don't like starting with the move rook f to c1, though. Seems like completely the wrong square for my rook. So rook a c1, queen b4. Well, maybe rook a d1. No, I don't like to have to go passive. I don't like to have to go passive. No. Maybe I'm going alarmist for no reason here. Maybe bishop takes d4, knight takes d4, queen takes d4. Maybe that's not something I have to worry about. You do get back the bishop pair. Rook c1, queen b4, queen a2. And do you really want to play a move like bishop d4 here? I'm not sure. I am not sure. I really have no idea. That was a big miss. It was a big miss. I thought I had knight b5 in this position. I'm missing that it's hanging a piece, a full piece, and nothing but the piece. Okay. Knight e5, bishop e5, it's nonsense. I can play rook e1, queen b4. I mean, What do I do there? That does not look good. Queen b4. What an annoying move. What an annoying move. Queen b4. What an annoying move. Queen b4. Bishop b5. No. Maybe. No, I don't like bishop b5. Rook fc1. Okay, I'm going to play rook fc1, I think, because it is an absolutely miserly move that attempts to hold on to the pawn. Rook fc1, queen b4, takes. Here, at least I have bishop f1 if necessary. At least I have, um, knight b5 stuff. I'm going to play rook fc1. I'm not too amazingly proud of it. I do badly need to use the restroom. So alrighty, so what do we have here? He has not made a move, so there's nothing good about when you really have to use the restroom on your move. It's not a good situation because I mean, if you get up from the board on your move, well, I mean, I assume my opponent's just going to the bathroom using an engine when they do that, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a big breach of chess etiquette to get up from the board on your own move while your clock is ticking, especially if you've just been sitting there for 10 minutes. So this can lead to some bad blunders if out of an etiquette, reason. Oh my goodness, he plays rook d8. He doesn't play queen b4. Woo! Queen b4 there. I was very, very worried about. Now, I should probably still be worried about it. Now, I want to at least be able to play bishop f1, tuck my bishop away there. Bishop f1 is my main candidate move here. What should it be? Bishop f1, bishop g4? Ay, 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 ay. My position is a mess. I don't know what's going on anymore. This kind of thing. Knight b5 takes. Oh right, what am I saying? There's still no knight b5 because there's still a hanging bishop, and that's why bishop f1 is my main move here. I want to deal with this bishop on f1, or I want to deal with bishop on e2, so it's not always hanging in all of these annoying variations. So bishop f1, I'm worried. Okay, so bishop f1, I think it solves the queen b4 problem. Queen b4 takes, knight b5, and then you get one of my pawns, whichever one you want, your choice. I get one of yours. Uh-oh, you get another one of mine? That wasn't part of the deal. Bishop f1, queen b4, takes, knight b5. Take here. Maybe b3 there. Where's all my pieces? Knight here. Takes, here. I mean, a pawn's a pawn. I'm still up a pawn in that position. So I'm going to have to hope that that is acceptable for me. Doesn't look that acceptable. We get a strong knight on c3. Doesn't look that great. Okay, bishop f1, bishop g4 is also something to worry about. Hoping I could make knight e5 work. Knight e5, bishop takes e5, rook e1. If nothing else, there's bishop h2 there, which is not ideal. This is not looking that great. This is not looking that great for me. Is there a more active square than f1 that I could put this bishop? Or could I just protect it somehow? Why do I feel like the best move is still rook e1? Why? I shouldn't feel that way. Nothing about the tactics changed, right? After rook e1, queen b4, takey, here, bishop c4, c6. Nothing about those tactics changed. Bishop f1, bishop g4. Like, what do I even do here? Oh, bishop f1, bishop g4. I can actually play this. Yeah, I could play that for real then. Knight b5. It is threatening to crash through here. It does slightly unprotect this, but I think it'd be okay. So bishop f1, I'm not worried about bishop g4 because I just played knight b5. So bishop f1, my main concern is still this queen b4, which I've gotten a few moves to improve on it, and it's still not looking that good for me. This is not looking that good for me. I mean, it's threatening the queen, and it's threatening d4. Then the question is, how do I deal with both of these? Short of taking the queen, I can take the queen. Takes. Knight b5. Just run through this again. I guess you take on a5. I take on c7. Take on c7. I mean, it looks acceptable to me. Not amazing, but let's go bishop f1. Bishop f1. Bishop f1. It's not the most active move in the world, but, it follows Ben Feingold's rule of always play bishop f1. It's a position. I'm still thinking, and I'm hoping, the worst thing that happens to me in this position is that I lose one of my weak pawns. I'm hoping that nothing worse than that will happen to me. So I feel like black is still, queen b4, I feel like it's still maybe just the equalizing move. Queen b4, queen takes b4, a takes b4 here. You get one of your pawn backs. You get big counterplay over here. But still up a pawn unless you play very, very carefully here. I don't see a way for you to hang onto your pawn, but I didn't look hard enough, to be honest. I did not look hard enough on that one. So we'll see. We will see what happens. There's nothing else to do. Let me see if this is working. That is working. Okay. I mean, bishop f1 is just squarely aimed at queen, well, stopping the queen e2 tactic so that I can play knight b5. And then I'm hoping that rook d8 was not such a useful move, so I think that queen b4 instead right then might have been more effective. When's the next game here? Next game is, we have 2 games tomorrow. Hoping we can win this one, and then here is going to be a toss-up. That is my opinion. What will happen? What will happen? Okay, so queen b4, I mean, maybe he doesn't even think this is a good idea. I think it's a very good idea, and it seems to win the pawn back, or at least get big counterplay, mess up all my queenside pawns. Queen b4 is the move that I'm scared of. If you don't play queen b4, I play rook c, or not rook c anything, but knight b5. And I try to get counterplay on the queen side here. And maybe I can even do a little shuffle where I rearrange my rooks here. He plays bishop g4. I'm not scared of this because of knight b5. Is what I said. Is that true? I don't know. Oh man. Knight b5 is what I said. But now, of course, I'm seeing that knight b5 hangs d5. You can play bishop c4 there. You can play pawn c6 there. I can take, you can play rook takes, interestingly. Yeah, knight p5 was the move that I thought of. Rook e1, of course, does not feel that strong or reasonable. I really wanted knight b5. Knight b5 is hanging this. Rook d8 did do something. So knight b5, knight takes d5. Knight takes d5. I want something to be there. I want something to be there. Knight b5. Bishop c4, attacking it a lot of times, right? Even bishop e6 there. It's probably acceptable. Yeah. Knight b5, knight d5. How do you not see that? How do you not see that, man? It's crazy. Okay. So let's see. What can we do here? Candidate moves. Candidate moves knight e5. Seems definitely to fail to bishop e5, bishop e5, queen e5, and the absence of any subsequent tactic. Knight b5, knight takes d5. Do I have anything there? Could I have anything there? Let's see. Knight b5, knight takes d5. Rook c5 doesn't seem that inspiring. Bishop f3, pawn c6. Knight b5 here. Maybe I could play knight takes b5, knight takes b5 here. No, that's not even a pin. I can't do that. Knight could just move back here. Okay. Bishop g4. Yeah, does it carry a threat? Yes. Yes, it does carry a threat. An annoying one at that. I may have messed up this position badly. I think it all started from underestimating a5, or not really paying enough attention to my opponent's ideas after a5. So let's maybe we could start thinking about desperation moves here. We could start thinking about pawn d6. Pawn d6, queen b6, knight b5. Pawn d6, cd6 is not advisable because of queen takes b6. Pawn d6, rook d6, still knight b5. Yeah, I mean, it is desperation. It is desperation. Did I have this available earlier? Possibly. Yeah, I could have maybe played on the last move even. Let's think. D6, you can't take here. D6, if you take here, I have knight b5, and I get to take here at least, making something resembling counterplay. So, and same thing for the rook, really. I'm gonna go d6. Give the pawn back, try to obtain some counterplay. Yeah. What more could you want in life? Hopefully we can maybe, just reduce to one isolated pawn, but one isolated pawn that has some more dynamic potential, really. Make knight b5 happen with tempo, basically, is the idea of queen d6. I want knight b5. I don't want you to be able to play, what was even my issue? Yeah, I don't want you to play play this, so we're going to have to find a way to do it with tempo. So queen takes seems likely. Knight takes. Queen d5 is possible. Takes. Takes here. You know, takes, takes. Unbelievably, I'm still up a pawn in this line. I'm not pretending that I can hold on to it for that long. But it definitely, he's going to have to work to win back the pawn. That surprises me a lot. When I started thinking about d6, I definitely thought of it as a desperation move. If I go back, really, d6 should have been on the candidate move list basically forever, or at least after queen e7. d6, d6 immediately, actually. It would make a lot of sense here. d6, queen d6, knight b5, and just try to push something through, try to push something through. Okay, but here, I mean, with the rook on c1, it kind of adds a bonus point to it, which is that the pawn on c7 is hanging. So this seems like a decent time to play it. But maybe certainly after rook e8, d6 definitely could have been a candidate move here too. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'm anticipating queen takes, knight b5, and queen d5, honestly. Just trying to trade everything. I think this would let me remain up a pawn, though, so probably not ideal. Just takes, takes, takes. Whoops, not that takes. Takes, takes, takes. And if you want a pawn, you can play takes, takes, and takes. This officially wins the pawn back. And then b7 takes the second pawn for me. I don't know how safe this is. This is not the kind of thing I'm good at, which is evaluating position that's 700 moves deep. It's the same colored bishop in game. We both have opposite colored bishop in game. My king is a little more exposed, favoring you possibly. And this pawn's not under attack as a rook on b7. I mean, this position, definitely I see a lot of potential for counterplay for black. Not sure that black. Well, I mean, a pawn is a pawn. A pawn is a pawn. I don't think I can really be better there, though. So maybe I should look to deviate somewhere first. Where can I deviate? Queen takes d6. Queen takes d6. Knight e5. That would just be crazy. Queen takes d6. Knight here. Knight e4. Kind of interesting. You could play queen e7. Takes, takes. Here. Kind of interesting. Takes, takes. Takes. I think I might just be calculating nonsense now. If they play queen takes, I'll definitely add knight e4 to the candidate move list, though. Queen takes, knight e4. And the question is, I guess you want to avoid the double pawns. Double G pawns, probably. So you want to play something like queen e6. Well, not queen e6. That would, well, queen e6. If I trade queen e6, f e6. Now I take on f6, gf6. I'm still grabbing on c7 there, but I'm giving back the e pawn and I'm getting the b pawn. So I don't know. I mean, every line I'm calculating, I end up a pawn. I ended up in some opposite colored up a pawn endgame, which for all the stuff that I missed, starting the second that I went out of book, even worse, starting when I thought I was still in book, whipping out a4, um, you know, for all the stuff I missed, an opposite colored bishop in game up a pawn, it seems like it definitely a reasonable opening choice for me. I hope I surprised him with this d6 idea. I suspect I did because he's taking a while, so we'll see. Hopefully I didn't just hang something. I mean, I'm not going to say that I've been particularly focused or exhibiting, great mental clarity or calculation ability during this game. Just playing some stuff. We'll see what happens. I think this is like a slow blitz game for me, I guess. I can't remember how to think. But yeah. Okay, so if I win this, hopefully my rating will go over 2200 again. I can retire or not again, for the first time on classical. And I can retire from chess permanently. Probably not. Probably not. I still have some students who I have to pay attention to. All right, but let's see what he does. Does he take my pawn on d6? Does he have... Well, surely he has to take the pawn on d6. What does he take it with, I guess, is a more appropriate question. If he takes it with the rook or the queen, I get knight b5 coming. If he takes it with the pawn, then I win the game on the spot. That would be ideal. Hopefully he does that. I guess, I don't know, I really only considered queen takes. Rook takes seems very, like, unnatural and wrong to me. Let's see what happens. Rook takes, knight b5 still. I don't think you're in any position to sacrifice the exchange. You could try this move, rook c6 there. Okay, and it looks like we might have that. I can't play knight e4 now because the queen still covers this. So after knight b5, let's see what happens. This move would be fairly absurd, running into rook c7. So if knight b5, I think he is going to try this rook c6. He is going to try rook c6. And there I could really consider the move d5, right? d5, takes, and big pressure on this d pawn, right? Maybe b5 here. I can't really take it in good conscience. I don't think. This bishop is loose. I don't know when that'll come up, but hopefully it'll come up at some point after d5. Okay, knight b5, rook c6. Knight b5, rook c6. You know what? Actually, d5 is sort of an attempt at trapping your rook, right? Maybe? You still always have c4. But now what I'm thinking is knight b5, rook c6, rook e1, switch flanks. I guess you have queen d7, which always holds back d5. But then I get to play knight e5. I get to play knight e5. And if I get to play knight e5, I think I'm a happy camper. Okay, I guess my other candidate move here, I could try to do this immediately with rook back to e1. Rook moves somewhere and knight e5. But I think that forcing him to this I don't know, inaccurate square seems actually pretty good. Actually pretty good. Let's see. Knight b5, bishop e6 maybe. I'll always have some queen d3 there. I don't think that's anything to worry about. Do I have the move? Ooh, I don't have rook takes c7, right? Rook c7, queen c7, knight b5. No. That would be really too much to ask for here. Okay, so candidate move knight b5 and rook e1. Okay, knight b5, rook c6 is forced, right? As you know, knight rook e1, maybe you could play this instead. Knight b5, rook c6, rook e1. Now rook e8, possible. Knight e5 either way. I suppose. Yeah. Here, d5 is possible. d5 takes, big pressure here. No c6, but maybe rook c1. Is d6 a thing yet? Oh man, d6 is just begging to be a thing. d6 takes. Darn, I'm not sure I have it. I'm not sure I have anything. I wish this was possible. Play d6 while still keeping this pin possibility alive. Oh wait, this pin is alive. What am I talking about? The pin is alive. Okay, what did I miss there? Knight b5, rook c6, d5, takes, rook c8. And now d6, I guess captures. And I want, oh, that's what I really want. I want the queens that still have pressure on the knight, I guess. I want the queens that still have pressure on the knight. Okay. Knight b5, rook c6. Anywhere the knight moves, there's going to be a threat of d5, right? Or bishop b5, bishop b5. I don't know. Knight b5, rook c6, rook here, bishop e6 is possible there, right? Not ideal. Or is it d5? Yeah, it's possible. Bishop e6, queen d3, possibly. Knight e5, maybe not queen d3, maybe queen d1 instead. Okay, what am I really trying to choose the difference between? I'm trying to choose. I mean, this looks promising. Knight b5 looks promising, so I'm not going to calculate it too deeply. You know, forcing the rook to maybe a suboptimal square. Rook e1 also looks promising. So rook e1 doesn't force the rook over there, so maybe I don't get this with tempo. If rook e6 immediately, is that really something to worry about? I'd say yes. I mean, rook c6, knight b5, or sorry, knight b5, rook c6, rook here would win a full tempo for me versus the other line. Here, if rook e6, if nothing else, I don't see anything completely amazing, so I am going to play knight b5 first, but I should blunder check. Knight b5, is this in any way a blunder? Bishop e6, you know, if nothing else, I can retreat my queen to some square where it protects his pawn, so I don't see how it could be a blunder. Okay, knight b5. I mean, this is what I'm talking about playing so. Like, am I going to calculate 18 moves deep accurately? Probably not. If I could do that, I probably wouldn't be 2,000 rated. I'd probably be 2,400 rated, right? So with that in mind, I think that it's worth it to be careful about getting into the trap of calculating very, very deeply and probably not so accurately. I'm sure that I missed a bunch of stuff in the rook c6 d5 line. I'm sure that I missed a bunch of stuff in the rook c6 rook e1 line. So I see that knight b5 doesn't hang anything for me. I see that it's a reasonable move. I play it. Okay, so now you have to choose. I guess you could, no, you couldn't think about this. c7 is hanging, your rook is hanging. Nothing's really reasonable here except rook d7 or knight c6. I guess I didn't think about rook d7 because it feels like it just runs into this. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's unfair. Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, rook d7, I just take here, free pawn. Right? Yeah, kind of. Kind of a free pawn. And kind of not at the same time because of this nonsense. Takes, check, here. Oh my goodness, I'm calculating a very silly line here. Let me see. So, if rook d7, gotta calculate it, even though it's silly. Knight c7, rook c7, queen b6, takes, takes. No, you can't take here. I'm still on b6. So you can't take here yet, at least. Also, if I do have to recapture this way, I at least have some bishop g7 or bishop g2. try to hold my kingside together. Okay, so I'm not very much up on time at all. I'm up 8 minutes on the clock. It's still a fairly complicated position, so I'm anticipating rook c6 here. And then I'm going to need to make a big choice between maybe d5, the forcing line, see if that leads anywhere, and just rook e1, maybe winning a tempo, maybe winning something more. Rook e6, d5, not knight d5, d5, takes, and rook c8. Here, I mean, that pressure is real, and I was just looking for something forcing with d6 and not seeing it. But just because there's not something forcing doesn't mean that it's not a pretty good position for me. He goes rook d7. All right, so this is the line that I just calculated and said that it was too silly to even really calculate. I mean, I can play knight c7 here. Knight c7, rook c7, queen b6. I'm very temporarily up a single pawn, right? Okay, you can take this guy, takes. I have rook c7 threat. You can take this guy, it doesn't seem that great. This doesn't seem playable. This doesn't seem playable to me. I'm going to double check that it's not a blunder, and then I'm going to go for it because I suspect that he just missed knight c7. So knight c7, bishop f3, gf3 doesn't change a whole lot. I have bishop g2 to cover things. Bishop c7. No. Knight c7, bishop g2. I am threatening this. You could take here. You could take that way. Okay, so maybe I should not speak too soon. Here, take on g2. Take here. Could get very sketchy very fast. Here. Oh man. That could get sketchy for both players. Okay, I have to check that line. Everything is hanging in this line. Okay. Take on c7, take on f3, and obviously I don't have rook f3 or queen f3 like I want. So I'm looking at queen b6. Temporarily everything's defended. Take on d4. Now material's equal, and the question is, can I actually win something here? Oh wait, take on c7, take on f3, I take on here. Okay. Whew, that was close. All right. So take on c7, there is a threat that is preventing bishop f3 from immediately working. So knight c7, rook c7, queen b6. You can't take here because I'm threatening this, so maybe swap on c1, retake on c1, take on f3, bishop f3, take on f3, and you can't take here yet. Rook c7 is coming. I think this position is good for me. I should check, of course, that it is not blundering anything. Bishop e6, no. Here, I'm threatening this knight, or this rook. I'm also threatening this knight. Take on c7, rook c8, I can just take here, that's fine. Take on c7, take on d4 immediately. I just recapture here. Here, doesn't look that good. Okay, so knight c7. Okay, so he goes for this. I mean, if I don't do this, I'm just down a lot of material, so I have to do this. Okay, he swaps. Let's double check that there's no intermezzo. I don't see an intermezzo. Okay, so we go straight for this line. And now, I guess I could consider rook c7, but not for too long because it does look awfully silly. Rook c7, queen moves to e4. Did I regret playing that move? Okay, so I will take this, and however briefly, I will be up a pawn in an endgame. All right, so rewind 25 minutes ago. Oh my goodness, and I've missed a tactic. I missed a bad tactic here, or rather a big tactic, which is that if takes, there is a small thing called queen to g5 check. I did not see this. Okay, so good calculation for him to spot that from such a ways off. The good news is that I don't seem to be losing that much yet. I mean, I'm more and more losing the more I look at it, but at the moment I'm not losing. So we should be okay. Maybe just a move like queen b5. Okay. Yeah, this is why you do tactics, kid. Because kids, sorry. He did see this, I guess. At least after he played rook d7, he must have calculated all of this out, which I missed. I missed big time. Queen g5, underestimated, underestimated. Let me see if there's any crazy detail he missed there. No way I can take on d4. No. Okay. So my queen, of course, is hanging. Queen c7 doesn't look that reasonable. Opposite colored bishop should favor him. It should honestly just favor him. So there is a threat to play queen g5 just straight up, even if I don't take this bishop. So yeah, queen b5 is looking forced-ish and not that fun for me. Queen d5 is looking forced and not that fun, because I don't want to get some checkmate disaster here. So queen b5. He has queen g5 ideas after bishop g2. Maybe he wants like queen d2, picking up some stuff. Material's still equal, but black is absolutely better just because of the unsafety of my king. So in terms of winning this game, you know, chances are dwindling very quickly. I'm basically hoping for a blunder at some point. Okay, so queen b5 covers the fork. I don't see a move that covers the fork and also gets my queen out of danger. Let me check all my options though. Queen b5, queen c7 is possible. It hangs. Well, it doesn't hang much actually. Yeah, queen c7. This might actually be an important move. Queen g5 here, here. Does not look that fun. Bishop d3, g6. Okay, I don't see why I have to allow that. Here, queen b5, does he have anything similarly awful? Maybe just something like rook d1. Okay. So it's queen c7 and queen b5 are really the only moves that don't lose on the spot for me. So I think I have to play one of these. Let me just double check queen c7 one more time. Queen c7, queen g5 check, king h1, take on f2. If nothing else, then you're up a pawn, right? As I don't see that this allows us to win a pawn so trivially. Maybe with queen f6. Queen f6 might win a pawn. Yes, it might. It might. That is true. This is not ideal. This is not ideal whatsoever. Let's see. Queen e7, queen g5, bishop g2. Is this so disastrous? Guess I'm worried about this. And this, that kind of stuff. Queen e7, you can even just take on b2, right? Doesn't look that amazing. All right, so I'm going to play queen b5, and I'm going to hope for the best here. Queen b5. I really thought I was up a pawn there. Really thought I was up a pawn. Completely missed. Bishop takes d5. Not good. Okay, so if he wants to win a pawn, he can play queen f6 here, hitting the f3 pawn, hitting the b2 pawn. I'm hoping it's somehow too slow, but I'm suspecting that it's just good. So queen f6, maybe rook e1. Now if you take the pawn, you know, on f3, for example, check here, here, here. You know, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great. You know, some queen e2. I mean, the good news is that if the queens come off, can I hold the endgame with opposite color bishops? Obviously. But as long as the queens are on, the opposite color bishops make it a lot easier for him to checkmate me. I mean, this is, I talked about this in my last game a little bit. I had the reverse situation, right? It was the opposite colored bishop endgame with queens on the board, and his king was a little weaker than mine. And it turned into a checkmate very quickly. Very quickly. So let's see what happens. It's going to be hard to not get checkmated here. I need to invest some time. This position is probably like minus 1.5, and if I make a bad move, it's going to very quickly go to minus 100, just because of the dynamic potential here. I don't know what else to call it. Queen g5 would be a horrific blunder. Hopefully he does that. Well, not that horrific. I mean, it would just make a draw, but it's horrific enough since he's so much better here. Ooh, so maybe this whole thing was ill-conceived. I didn't have to take on c7 here. I probably could have had quite a decent position, maybe just by playing rook e1, which was my other candidate move. I calculated this, but I did not calculate it hard enough. Let me see if there's anything I missed. Here. Take on f3. Yeah, I could have. Well, yeah, actually, I was thinking about this rook c7 here, right? Rook c7, queen e4, takes here. Yeah, maybe rook c7 here was possible. That's kind of funny, huh? It at least, well, rook c7 here. Yeah, rook c7. I thought about the move, but I guess I didn't look hard enough for my opponent's tactics, so that will happen. And it was really just a one mover, and it was just evaluating captures and checks, which is something that I tell my students to do 700 million times a day. Don't worry, I'm not teaching anybody above about 1200. As evidenced by my play here, I really shouldn't. Okay. So how does he continue here? Queen h4 looks like a pretty darn good spot, or a start. Very threatening. Queen h4 wins on the spot, actually. What am I doing? Queen h4 is GG. Completely. Queen h4, I can't even cover this. Can I? No, I can't cover this. I can play queen e2, you play... No, wait, why did I think you have that? You don't have that. Okay, queen h4, I might be hanging on by a thread after queen e2. I thought you had bishop e5 there, but of course I could take that. But, you know, something like f6. All right, I better centralize my queen quickly if it's at all possible. Get the queen on e4 or something. Oof, does not look fun. It does not look fun for me. Of course, a queen trade is my dream. If I could trade queens, then I'm home free. I'm going to be very lucky to draw this. If I do draw this, okay, we see queen h4. Queen e2 looks fairly forced to me. If I play this, oh, it's possible, I guess. Oh, no. I can't play queen e2. Queen e2 would lose. Queen g5. So actually what is forced is the opposite. This is forced. And not in a fun way. I don't know what the fun way that things are forced is, but this is not it at all. I cannot play queen e2. Red alert. Red alert. Maybe in some strange way I could play bishop g2. That might be funny. Or it might not be funny at all. Okay, so there is no queen e2. Would run right back into queen g5 check. I think I am going to lose this game most likely because I'm just missing everything now. Rook c2 looks forced to even survive another move. Check here. Maybe I can keep surviving here. I really just got to play one move at a time here, but it doesn't look good. Rook c2 covers f2 and doesn't hang queen g5 check. Now at least I can move my queen. Dreams of playing queen f5. Dreams of playing queen g4. Please let me get these queens off. Let me get these queens off. That is all I can think about here. I need to get my queens off. Or both queens off. Or, I mean, preferably, I could get his queen off without getting my queen off. But I do not see that as being likely. Alright, so I'm worse. Again, I think this is minus 1.5, but every time I miss something, then my mental evaluation goes down half a point, so now I think it's minus 2. It's not looking that great. Let's see if we can find a knockout blow. I didn't see a knockout blow, but I don't see anything wrong either with just trying to, you know, slowly attack me, baby. If you can organize bishop e5, then I'm surely toast, right? So maybe that's all you need to think about here. How do I play bishop g5? I have the checks covered for now. I have some kind of threat, maybe, um, to take on b7, hitting your rook. And I have some dream of centralizing the queen over here. Other than that, I really don't have much. Whew, tired. Oh my goodness. I thought, yeah, this is the thing. Like, what's the game going to be decided by? Is it going to be decided by opening knowledge? No. Is it going to be decided by strategy? No. It's going to be decided by missing a two-move tactic, right? And where's the two-move tactic that I missed? Bishop takes d4. I missed it. Now, granted, I missed it, before it was a two-move tactic when it was still like 5 moves out. But even I think when I got this position, I was like, yeah, I'm up a pawn. Yeah. So do tactics. Do tactics, kids. Okay. Although, was rook c7 really so ridiculous here? Yes, it was. Because check here, and then bishop e5 is coming. So yeah. But I after this point, I think I made some moves that are just forced. So let's see what happens. Material is still equal. Knock on wood. I do not see a forced checkmate. So I'm not going to resign. I just feel like at any second there could be a disastrous knockout blow here. Maybe, I'm going to regret it if I don't go to the bathroom again right now, because then I'm going to have to do it in time trouble. So, peace. Okay, so he plays b6, which is, on the one hand, yay, there was apparently no knockout blow, I guess, because b6 is not the most threatening move in the world. He just chooses to defend his pawn. Here, I could play, what could I play? What do I even think I could play? No. Yeah, queen f5 seems very, very reasonable here. Trying to get the rooks off, possibly. Trying to play queen g5. Trying to play, you know, bishop d3. In fact, queen f5 sort of threatens bishop d3. I mean, I say threatened, but this position is obviously no longer losable for black in the absence of some serious blunder, which, you know, I'll do my best to induce, but I can't promise anything. Okay, so I feel like if I can play queen f5, then the worst of it might actually already be over, which really isn't so bad then. So queen f5, bishop d3 is also kind of sneaky. If I play bishop d3, I vaguely am threatening to play this. Even that wouldn't work. I mean, if I could play two moves in a row, they'd have queen e8. Okay, so queen f5. It's sort of, yeah, threatens here, threatens here. He could switch gears. You could play, well, not really queen f6. Queen f5. I could try to get my own attack going on the light squares, maybe. Okay, queen f5, rook e8. Certainly not bishop d3 anymore. Certainly not rook c8. Queen f5, rook c8. No, queen f5. What am I doing? Queen f5, rook e8. Queen g4, queen f6. Bishop d3 doesn't look so ideal anymore. Yeah, I'm not huge on allowing him to come to whatever square that is that I don't want him to come to, which is e8. So maybe queen d7 is warranted, not allowing rook d8, or not allowing rook e8, but walking right into rook to that square, 8 d8. Queen f5, rook e8. Queen f5, rook e8. Bishop d3 is not possible. Blocking with the rook is not possible. Yeah, I don't really like queen f5, rook e8. That is no fun. No fun at all. So I'm trying to disallow queen d8 or rook e8 for as long as possible. This actually does make some sense. Bishop d3. Threatening queen f5, maybe for real this time. Maybe. I don't know. You can be the judge of that. Queen f5, g6. Even that's not such a big deal. I really want some back rank catastrophe to happen, but I'm not seeing it. So starting with bishop d3, is there some obvious downside here, I guess? Bishop d3, you could play rook d8. Maybe I want bishop e4, which would be quite an active square for my bishop. This check is not such a big deal. Is there any downside to starting bishop d3, which is where it does come in most lines, I think. Wait a second. Is this a thing? No. Never, because it takes here. Okay. But maybe this could be a thing. But then you could always protect it here. All right, so I don't think that's really that serious. Okay, so let's consider bishop d3 and look really, really hard to see if I'm blundering anything, because I blundered a lot so far that I haven't noticed. So bishop d3, queen f4 might be pretty scary, but I think we're in time with just queen f5 there, with a peaceful conclusion to result. Yeah, just bishop d3. Bishop d3. It feels right. It's got to be right. Bishop d3. I played it. Can't be wrong. I already played it. Okay. So, I mean, I guess the idea really is just that, you know, I still want to play queen f5, but I want to not play it immediately because maybe he would be able to play rook e8 there. And I can always actually sort of switch gears, play rook e8, would threaten back rank mate, which would be pretty funny if you let me do it, but I don't think you will. So rook e2 is might be a little annoying to face. I don't think he's going to allow back rank mate. You never know. Never can tell with us. 2000s, we do blunder a lot. I don't know that I've blundered back rank mate in a classical game in a long time. In my first ever classical rated game I did, I blundered it to some 11-year-old kid who was very, very excited to checkmate me. And I got my first rating of like 1000. So it happens. I don't think I've just straight up blundered back rank mate in a classical game since then though. I mean in Blitz obviously, like probably every other game I do it, or Bullet, but not classical. So I have given back my time advantage, and I have not converted that into any superior position to show for it. I'm just happy that I don't seem to be lost. I'm just, yeah, I'm chuffed that I'm not lost here. That is what I am. I'm chuffed that I'm not lost. Yeah, there's never any serious back rank ideas as long as there's this queen g5 in the position. But yeah, queen e2, is this a threat? Yeah, I can see how that's a threat. Threatening rook here. Here, still queen f5, g6. You can play, I try to get some bishop c4 going too. I don't think my attack is very serious at all, but the main thing is that I'm happy that his attack isn't serious. I mean, like, if he offered me a draw here, obviously I wouldn't take it, because he can always blunder stuff. But I'm mostly concerned with not getting completely steamrolled. But, I mean, on the other hand, the best way to do that usually is to start your own counterplay, so maybe I should be worried about my own attack, or lack thereof. Queen f5 at the moment is always met with g6. My bishop, if my bishop were on c4, I wouldn't, there'd be no reason for him to play g6, so not, not much going on with queen f5, I guess. I mean, if I could magically play queen e4, that move might win. That move would win. Let me think how I can do that. No, there's no way for me to magically play queen e4. So g6, I guess if I do play, imagine I could move again. Queen f5, g6. I could technically play this, this. But even this is not the end of the world. I'm not even sure I want to do that because this rook is not very active, and this rook is both making threats and performing a very important defensive job called not letting me get checkmated. Okay, so queen e5 played. I can play queen f4 immediately. Now seems like more of a thing to draw the game, right? How do you deal with this? g6? Uh-oh, now I have this, possibly. Uh-oh, did you blunder? Did you blunder? Okay, so candidate moves, queen f5. If I play queen f5, then I think the game is a draw, right? Let's double check that because that's something that's worth being sure about. Queen f5 is actually unlosable for me now, right? Queen f5, surely you cannot avoid the queen trade. I mean, you can play, what would you even play? Queen h4, check here, and get a rook, or something similarly awful, queen e5. Yeah, this is just nonsense. So yeah, queen f5 I think draws the game on the spot. So that's good to keep in my back pocket. So I guess now really I do have to consider the pairings. If I draw, then it's 1.5, 3.5, and we have to make up 2 wins in the next 3 games. Not impossible. Not amazing. If I win, then we only need 1.5 points. No, wait. Is that right? What do we need? 1.5, 3.5. So to win the match, we would need. Oh my goodness, my brain is completely fried. How many players are there? There's 8 players, so it's a race to 4.5. So we would need 2.5 out of 3 to win the match in the next one. If I lose, it's impossible. If I win, then we would need only 2 out of 3, right? Is that right? I think. I can't count. Counting is really hard. Somebody else can run the math on that. I think the point is that winning is significantly better than drawing for me. And I don't know, if I lose, we're out of contention entirely. I don't know whether it's the correct teammate conscious decision here. This is not something you should have to think about during your game. That's why in an over the board competition, at least the old school ones, you just ask your team captain, "Can I make a draw here?" And they tell you yes or no. You know, but obviously it's kind of cheating, I guess. But it's cheating that everybody's on the same page as being allowed, so it's not cheating. But I can see why they disallowed it here. But still, like it's kind of annoying. Like, am I supposed to calculate the position, or am I supposed to count points and look at my teammates' games and all of this? I mean, because all of that stuff should factor into your moves on the board. All right, but let's Queen f5 is a draw on the spot. I cannot lose this. Absolutely no way. I cannot win it either. So we have a draw. Okay. Is there any winning prospects after? Um, you know, what am I even trying to say here? Queen d7. Queen d7. Well, you can't. I think you struggle here. I think you struggle. Maybe a lot. Queen d7. Let's just make sure there's no like blunder here. Queen g5 check, king h8. Obviously, you can't take this. Queen to d7. Can't play queen b8. You can't play rook here. You could play rook all the way here. Then I want this. I want this big time. You could play check. No, you can't play check here. Ooh, that hurts. That hurts that you can't play check there. That could be a big one. Queen d7, rook e8. Here, you might have to play bishop c5. Not sure. Not sure. Then maybe, bishop here would not be ideal. Bishop c5. It doesn't look that crazy here. Even bishop c5 there, honestly. That could continue to cause problems for me. Bishop c5. Queen d7, bishop c5 right away, right? Maybe rook here. No, I don't like allowing all this. Check here, check. I don't like that. So bishop c6 is a lot more forcing, I guess. Or queen c6 is a lot more forcing. Now we have two possibilities for the rook. We do have to pick one of them. We go here. If we go here, maybe I can do this. Continue to cause problems. Still bishop c5 there. Let's see. Okay. So bishop or queen c6 here. I could play this and get, with tempo, you to play rook f8. But then even still then, this just doesn't seem that big deal. Here, we're here rook f8 immediately, honestly. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just, as long as it doesn't cause, great losing chances to me, that's probably enough. Even queen a6, I guess, could be considered. Seems a little silly. Not queen f5. No way, Jose. Or not bishop f5, rather. Bishop e4. Queen d5. Oh. Have I missed something big? Yes, maybe, possibly. Queen d5. You probably want to go rook here. And then here. Okay, so oh, wait. Queen d7. If not bishop c5. If you play rook f8, then I have this, don't I? No, that's not anything. Check. Here. It's not anything. Okay, you always have this check. What about starting with the move rook c4? Okay, if I start rook c4, I have a huge threat called queen d5. Can you unpin easily? You could play this. That is true. Maybe I could play queen a6 there and still try to cause you problems. I'm not sure. Yeah, rook c4, I feel like you just unpin. Well, if you unpin on most squares, like you unpin on f6, then I could play this, right? Which would be actually disastrous for you. So here, queen f6, here, for example. No, then you would have this. There's just too many ways out of this for you. Okay, I really want it to be some back rank mate, obviously. How can I make my dream come true? Is rook e8 scary? Check. Here, check. No. I like moving the queen to get out of this possibility. Whoa, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Queen d7. Bishop c5. Maybe rook c4. You know what? Queen d7, bishop c5. I could still play this. So nothing really bad has happened to me. So queen d7, rook f8. Even then, I could still play bishop f5. Okay, so I think queen d7 carries no risk, and it asks some questions at least. So I'm going to go for queen d7. Because I really haven't eliminated the possibility of playing queen f5 after d7. So I think it's non-committal. I'm getting to the time where I just have to start making moves. I'm down on time now. I'm down on time. So it's not ideal. If bishop c5, this definitely can be annoying. Just with the idea of covering everything here. So he may have to make a draw here. Okay, he goes for this and he offers a draw. Of course, I decline. And now, yeah, here is definitely to be considered. But bishop c5, you know, let's see. Just not ideal. Just none of this is ideal. I really want this to be a big thing. Oh, wait. There's no bishop c5 there. Huh. Hey, you offered a draw after blundering, man. There's no bishop c5 here. I would have check here, here, check here, here. No perpetual. So rook e8 might be lights out, actually. Rook c8 is check here. Let me post my stream in the comments again. Whoops, did not mean to do that. Okay, so he offers me a draw. Of course, no draw, no draw. If I want to draw, I mean, I'll play queen f5, and then I'll play the endgame for 7 hours if I want. Okay, so let me just make sure that this doesn't blunder. If it does blunder, it probably blunders bishop f2 is the main thing that it blunders, which I don't see as leading to anything more than a perpetual for you. So I'm going to go for it. Let us try to make a draw, or not a draw. Let's try to make a checkmate. Bishop c5, bishop h7 is what I think we both missed there. And an important move. So you can always throw in check here. I don't think it will help you too much. Definitely problems. Definitely problems. it is a funny thing because if you played bishop c5 and offered a draw, well, I still wouldn't have taken the draw, but I mean, probably would have been a draw at least. But we'll see. Bishop c5. All right. I just have to blunder check. Bishop h7, king h7. Oh my goodness! Why do I think I have this? Look at this. I'm completely hallucinating. This is crazy. This is honestly, I'm losing my mind here. I thought I had bishop h7, king h7, rook f8, but bishop f8. Look at this. All right, maybe I should take a draw before I lose my mind completely here. Um, hmm. Let's see if there's anything interesting we could try. You know, now he does have this annoying thing. I don't really love it. I would prefer not to make a draw. I would prefer really not to make a draw here. But if I have no choice, I have no choice. Bishop c5. Why did I think I had bishop h7 here? Why did I think I had bishop h7 here? Oh my goodness. We may never find out the answer to this. Okay, so I can take, obviously you take here. Do I have anything amazing there? I mean, I can, no. No, I do not. I have just queen f5 forcing everything off. The endgame is utterly unwinnable. That was very silly of me. Very silly of me. I really thought bishop h7. I really thought bishop h7. Now that's a good thing about streaming. So all two of you who are watching the stream right now, you can see just how horrifically flawed my thought process is. Any other candidate move? No, I think I've burned too many bridges now. Let's go for this. Hope he blunders mate in one. Okay, he takes here, and it is an opposite colored bishop in game. Now, my bishops are the one who are a little better, I guess. I could try, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what I would try here to try to win. Maybe b3 and try to put my bishop here. There's a problem called a perpetual that's happening to me. So, yeah, not great. Not great. All right, it's a perpetual, I guess. Bishop f5, here. I can still not try to win this at all. This would be ridiculous. Okay, let's see. This doesn't really threaten anything. How do I at least stop the perpetual? Let's presume for a minute that I don't want to be perpetual checked. Well, I have to cover this square. Right? So here, check, here, takes. No. Here, check, here. This just looks like I'm going to find a way to lose the game. I don't see anything to do here. So I'm going to play this, and we will make a draw. And anything else really feels like I'm just trying to find a way to lose the game. Okay, yeah. So let's see. You know, I'll try my best to win this, but with 45-second increment and my opponent being rated above 1200, it does seem very unlikely. Very, very unlikely. But, you know, just on principle, no draws. No draws whatsoever. Okay, so take my pawns off of the dark square, I guess. Seems logical. Or just keep my king over here, either one. They both seem pretty logical. We'll go with, I don't even know. I don't even know, man. Maybe I want to play h4, h5, no. I mean, just h3, sure. Yeah, I mean, with how badly I played, I definitely deserve to lose. So if that happens, that happens. Seems pretty unlosable. Even if I were down a couple pawns, it would still be unlosable. So He could do something strange like put all his pawns on light squares. I guess might give me no. Even then, as long as he doesn't move his king somewhere completely crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'll put my king in the middle of the board. I'll pretend I'm gonna take some pawns. You know, we'll do that kind of thing. That kind of thing. He will offer me a draw. I will decline the draw. The usual. Nothing special going on here. Yeah, this game will end in a draw, but I will basically I'm gonna play on out of spite, kind of. I don't know. I just don't believe in offering draws in principle. Like I've lost positions like this in hyperbullet, so he could lose a position like this in classical, right? Why not? Oh, that was very silly. I really thought that I really thought this was winning for me. I thought bishop c5, I trade. No, I thought bishop c5, bishop h7, because I forgot that the point of bishop c5 was to protect the rook. So that was not good. That was not good. This is not a good game. I've really only played one half decent game in this league so far. Not this one. I don't know if I was ever losing, but if he had played queen b4 in the opening, let me see. Yeah, like here I was sure the point of your play is to play queen b4. And then I thought like my queen side looks really, really weak. But okay, after that I think we both missed a bunch of stuff. So a draw is logical, if not the most helpful result for the team. And I guess anybody who was saying at the beginning, why did you play the French exchange? You're gonna make a draw. Well, now you feel awfully good about yourselves, don't you? But okay, game's not over. If we're playing King of the Hill rules, I think I'd be winning by force, right? F6 here. I think I'd just get there first. Yeah. If it were King of the Hill. I mean, the only hope, I guess, is that you do G6, H5. And then you let me put my king on F6. And then you let me put this here and I take all these pawns. But even then would probably be a draw. These pawns are not the most useful. But we will play on. I have a lesson at 4, so I can be here all day. No problem. I'm kind of tied down to the defense of this pawn. You can't move this guy too much, so I guess I'm microscopically worse here. Okay, he does go for G6. Cool. We'll play this just for fun. Doesn't really matter. I mean, the lackadaisical way in which I'm playing definitely is heading towards me somehow losing this. I mean, I'd hope that the numbers next to my name mean that I can't lose this, but I know better than to hope that. I know better than to hope that, because it is not true. But okay, it was this is a 2-hour game, huh? I played pretty bad, pretty bad. I think it was mainly the calculation. Like I think I played like strategically the things that I was trying to do were reasonable, but they were reinforced with very, very bad calculation. And then he definitely did not make the most of his opportunities either. Okay, so he maybe wants to come in here. All right, I guess I should stop messing around. I should admit that I do want to make a draw here, that I'm the only one who can lose. But I mean, I can just play b3. I just keep my bishop on this diagonal. I don't see a whole lot you can do. Yeah, it's not really anything. You can check me one time if you like. Yeah, I can even give up 2 pawns here probably and draw. That's okay. We'll just play this for a couple hours or so. Maybe he thinks I'll flag. I think definitely that by declining his draw offer, he is a little sort of tilted now. And now he feels like he can't make a draw, or he has to try to win or something silly like that. I don't know. If you've been watching this the whole time, you know that I like to project a lot of dubious psychology onto my opponents. I don't know what he's thinking. He's probably thinking similar stuff to me, which is not much. Okay. So we've played this. What's the idea? To come over here? Okay, I'd prefer you not do that, I guess. What is there to say? Nothing. So play this. And here. And then you can't move anything. He offers a draw. All right, I'm not rude enough to decline it this time. Good game. Well played. Let's look at the analysis board. Okay. Let's see where I really went out of book here. Bishop f6, bishop f6. Wow, I'm surprised black scores so well here. Queen b3, a5. Yeah, I guess I missed this. He probably covers this in his book, honestly. I should check. Yeah, let's check the old e3 poison. Do they mention this a5 move? Let's see. Knight 4, knight d4. Let's see. I have it on Chessable, I think. E3 poison. What do we got? French exchange. Somewhere all the way back here. French exchange. There you go. Theory. Let's see it. All right, so we're looking at the bishop d6 line. Bishop d6. Bishop d6. Where's bishop d6? Bishop d6, c4, castles. Bishop d6, c4, castles is what I need. Bishop d6. Oh my goodness. Have we missed it completely? Where is c4? Oh. Okay, so here, dc4. He only analyzes dc4, dc4. What? No. Where's the c takes c5? Oh yeah, I played a different move order. That's right. Okay, knight bd7, h6 bishop e4, knight b6 bishop e2. All right, let's check this. This looks like the line. Okay. Wow. Yeah, this book does not give a lot of details here. I have to say that. We could transpose to the other game, the game I was thinking of, having avoided bishop b5. In any case, it's up to black to prove that he has compensation for the pawn. I'm going to say he did a pretty darn good job about that. He did with the move a5. I would say he does have some good compensation for the pawn. Let's see. So where are we? A5. Okay, A4 forced. Oh wait, I'm not looking at the master database. Okay, yeah, so this is still played by some decent players here. We're not going totally crazy. Bishop F5, castles here, rook. Okay, look at this. Some 2200 picked the same move as me, rook F-C1. Should have played rook A-C1, queen B4 was the idea. Okay, I didn't miss that. Yeah. Okay, d6 does not like that very much. So how did this game continue? A4, K5, okay, FC1, rook FD8. Yeah, bishop F1 is a little silly. Bishop G4. All right, and D6 was not. Oh, 95. Why did I not consider this? This does make some sense. It's just giving back a different pawn, basically. Yeah, knight takes c7. Definitely, I understand that was wrong. Here, I definitely understand why knight takes e5. Okay, well, interesting game. You know, I guess the computer says that I was not seriously worse. This number, that's pretty funny. 12 average center pawn losses, obviously nonsense. I played very bad. I didn't calculate anything. And yeah, I was lucky not to blunder anything in this minus 1.5 zone. There are a lot of moves that would have hung my rook. Okay. Well, if anybody watched this, Thanks, and I will stream my next